familiar way about you. For a lot of us, you're almost an extended member of the family. But at the same time, your extensive and distinguished career has made you an international icon and an ambassador for this community. And I think it's also safe to say that with 300 of the best and brightest minds of our community from across the country, you have individuals here who aspire to follow in your footsteps. What would you say is their role and responsibility if they were to one day be the next Andy Garcia?
Use contraception. It's hard to, when people look at you and talk to you like a third person. I think I don't have the answers. Matt Damon said that when young actors said, what do you recommend, about being an actor, and he says, no, don't. And he figures if that discourages them, and then they shouldn't have been acting. And I guess, what has gotten me over the top in my profession, I guess it's a simple recipe. There was a quote, I think someone told me once it was the motto for the McDonald's Corporation, but maybe I'm mistaken, but it said that there's no substitute for persistence, not talent nor genius. And for me, I had a dream, I had an obsession with a dream. But in order to, and I think God had given me a natural, some sort of a gift, obviously, that was basically a gift of a certain love and maybe sensibility for that art form. But I needed to cultivate that, because when I started acting in Miami-Dade South and later at FIU, I wasn't a very good actor. And but I was a very good I was a quick learner, I think, and I was a passionate observer, and I had a very, I would say my strength would be my observational and imaginational sort of illness. Because it's like a virus, and I had this virus in me, and everything related back to that one dream. And so I took it upon myself to prepare myself as an actor the best way I could under the circumstances I had, where I was, and I was always a study of it. When I moved to Los Angeles, I continued to study. And I had a stubbornness about trying to make a living as an actor. That's all I wanted to do is make a living as an actor. So I guess my advice was, I moved to LA in 1978. The first job that I had, that from then on I never had to have any other job in my life but acting, was in 1985. So 7 years later, I finally was able to get a job where I could then parlay that job into another job and not have to wait tables or move houses, or not there's anything wrong with that, but I'm not doing what I'm not in my profession, to make a living in my profession. So what got me through those years was a certain stubbornness and complete, I guess, commitment to this insanity of a dream, But it was always, what got me there was what I had prepared for, the fact that when I finally got an opportunity that was substantial enough that all those years of study and stuff, I was ready. And the people in front of me that can hire me said, the boy's ready. And that's the only wisdom I can impart, is that preparation and dedication to what your field is in education is of utmost importance. And then there's the struggle, and the struggle weeds out those who are not willing to, climb over the obstacles. That's the nature of life. So you got to stay steady, stay healthy, and and try to have fun in the journey, because if I look back, I could have, those years I had a lot of pressure on myself, and there are times that I felt I could have had a little bit more fun in the journey, and I could have taken a little bit more pressure off myself. But I guess, that's just part of the struggles of youth, when you're looking at a future. For me, the thing that alleviated me a lot was that I saw the light at the end of the tunnel one day, in terms of just the basic reality of getting work as an actor in that industry. And one day I saw the light. It was far. I mean, it was very far. But I saw the light. And when I saw it, I said, I'm good. Because as my father always said, one step at a time, he said, he had this thing that he said was the only thing that he agreed with in the Cuban Revolution was a slogan that said, never take a step backward, not even to gain momentum. And I always remember that. And, so it was like, just little by little, and the light kept getting closer. And sometimes you make a greater leap, so, oh, God, that was 4 blocks I left there. And sometimes it's kind of a struggle, and sometimes a leap will take you could be 3/4 of the way there, and then the next day, you're there. It's a big leap, but as long as you see the light, then do everything possible, to get to that light. So and that had to do with me.